Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? After three, tied at one. I got shot in the leg as a 15-year-old, and I didn't go down as bad as Vientos did getting hit in the hand. Anyway, I hope you're all well. Was I rooting for him to be out? Nah, I don't like injuries. I don't like Vientos. I don't know which one I like worse or better, but um, anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Hey, William, how are you? I will be in throughout the broadcast. I have a couple of things to do, but I wanted you to be able to commiserate. You like that word? Among one another, amongst one another. You use some college English there, and I will be in. Okay, so I'll come in a couple of minutes. Let me just go down and get my coffee. As Beethoven said, I'm Bach, and Arnold Schwarzenegger as well. Now, I see that Albie's not in the pink today. I have to tell you, I have I certainly have a different feeling toward Albie today, and I'll tell you why. Toward the end, I was talking to someone who knows him well, and it's interesting. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well today. I pulled my lower back out. I don't know what I did. I remember once I was on the toilet and I was tying my shoes. And you ever stay down for just a second extra? I did that. And I remember getting off the toilet. This was a couple of years ago. And as I was walking, I was hunching until I looked like a 90-year-old Jewish man in Miami Beach. I just couldn't straighten up for a week or so. Well, it's not that bad right now. And I didn't tie my shoes and I wasn't on the toilet. So I don't know what happened. Yeah, Mania gives up a lot of home runs. Well, they're very aggressive, Kansas City. They're aggressive and they don't strike out. But I hope you're all doing well. It's a muggy day in New York. It says like rain, but I don't see any rain coming down. So I was going through some scouting reports on some of the Met players, and I actually, I had spoken to my friend yesterday, and he gave me some reports. I spoke to him today to thank him, and then I asked him again um, on Alvarez, and I asked him what he thought, what was his ceiling, floor, and he likes him. I think he likes him because there's not a lot of catchers in the major leagues. But he did say to me that the thing he liked about Alvarez is his competitiveness, and you have to look past the box scores, and you have to see the injuries that have taken toll. He tore his meniscus, and he came back really quick. And if you look at his stats comparative, really to the rest of the league, um, he's good. Has he developed into that weapon that we thought? No, he hasn't. But how much has injury caused that slowdown? I don't know. I don't know. In 23, he hit 25 home runs. He had raw power, but he was struggling like crazy with the strikeouts and a low batting average. In 26, he stopped pulling. He sold out for more balanced at bat, and that was all Chavez. Chavez had pretty much told him, get a good at bat, which I can understand. But when you have a guy with raw power, you don't tell him to poke the ball to right field. So in 2003 or 23, he had 209. Right, his WRC plus was 97. The league average is 100. This year it's 105, and he's up to 246 batting average. His barrel rate was 12.8 in 23, it's 16.4 now. So even though he has 9 homers, I think he's played 58 games or something like that. He missed 6 to 8 weeks based on all the injuries. He's in the elite 95 percentile with barrel rate at 16.4, believe it or not. The raw power is still there. He just hits the ball on a line harder now than he used to with loft. He's not lifting everything anymore. So, you look at the Met catching, and what do you do this year? You have Torrens, and it's not a battle really. They complement each other pretty well. Torrens is the defensive player. He's an elite defensive player. He's a +7 run value. I think he's fourth or fifth in the major league this year. Now Alvarez has taken a step back. He's 28th in Major League Baseball. Pretty much he's the worst catcher in the league. But the Mets have a luxury here that they didn't have when Alvarez came up, because they can rest Alvarez without a real drop-off defensively, although Alvarez isn't great defensively. But Alvarez has great bat speed. And you can play him, DH him to protect his knees. Now, where does he rank? You had some really good rookies come up back then. Gunnar Henderson, Corbin Carroll, obviously he's not them. But you could see at 24 years of age, you could see where he is. And he's above average. He certainly is. When you look at him against Major League Baseball catchers with at least 200 plate appearances in 26, he's 13th in home runs, 14th in OPS, 734, and 16th in batting average. So he's right in the middle. So when I'm screaming at him, my apologies, because he probably doesn't really deserve everything I give him. Finding an above-average catcher who's durable at 24 is very rare. Okay, are they dangling him at the trade deadline for frontline pitching? Possibly, but it's going to have to be a real blockbuster for the Mets to make the deal. Now, you look at catchers that are better. Quite a few. He's in the middle of the rankings. So are we okay with Alvarez? I think his floor is pretty much where it is. I think Alvarez in a bad season, and I'm going on 125 to 130. Let's go 140 games, because let's say he DHs some. His 140 game stats, Alvarez, ceiling, I'm going to say 30 and 80, 250. Floor, 21 and 60, 225. Not such a bad floor if he was better defensively, and he might be able to get better defensively. That's going to be overturned. He's out there. But the Mets have seen some young players that are interesting. They certainly are. The Met defense has improved a bit. Nothing where I'd like to see it, but it has improved a bit. And Mania gets out of the fifth, trailing 2-1, but he's been serviceable. Now you look at the Met top prospects and where we're sitting in the prospect pool. You have to remember, most of our prospects are up here. But it's not a bad crop. They just don't have anybody ready for the major leagues. You look at their headliners. Okay, Nolan McLean was one of their headliners, top-ranked prospect. Probably will be a number 1 or 2 starter for them. He's struggled this year, but he has an above-average slider and curveball, and he's a powerhouse. Now, Jonah Tong, the Canadian Canyon, that's what they call him. He rocketed through the system. He certainly did. He had an ERA of about 1.4 before he came up to the majors. He wasn't ready for the majors. He has an amazing changeup. His changeup is like the Lincecum changeup, and he has an electric arm. They brought up Benj, right? Very polished. Benj, are you so upset now about Brandon Nemo not being here? I'm not. You know, he he has great plate discipline, although he's still having a tough time with that breaking ball inside. But he'll learn. He has a plus throwing arm. He's an everyday right fielder, and he certainly is better than Brandon Nemo at this point in his career. And we have AJ Ewing up already, so these are all our guys. He has five-tool potential. If Ewing hits 20 plus homers, he is Jacoby Ellsbury. I think that he could steal 60 bases. Now, I asked him about some of the others. Okay, Ryan Clifford. Clifford has raw power from the left side. Okay, they got him from what they get? They got him in the Verlander trade, right? He grades the plus power, and he's hit over 70 homers in the minors. His strikeout rate is way too high, and his batting average is in the low 200s, which means he hit 175 probably here right now. He has a good on base percentage though for a guy that strikes out a lot. He does. He walks. And then we have Jack Wenninger. Okay, he rose fast last year. He gained in velocity over a year, a couple of miles an hour, and then he had an ERA under 3 in the upper minors. So he projects as a middle of the rotation starter. And Taylor just went deep, tied a game at 2. Tyrone Taylor. See, that's what happens when you play guys once a week, once every 10 days instead of 5 times a week when they shouldn't be. So you look at the system. Jet Williams was the guy that the Mets loved in this system. But it looks like, I don't know if they offered Ewing. But Ewing was sailing up the system. He really was. Now, he's been injured a bit. He's hitting 230, I think. But he is on pace for a full season in the minors for like 18 homers and maybe 80 RBIs or something. His signature and his plate discipline is terrific. He's stolen 22 bases maybe down there. He has a terrific walk rate, high on base guy. Now, where do I think he'll fit? Well, I think he's going to be a top of the order guy. He's 5'7". He's a little small. That might deter me a bit, but I think he's a 30 plus stolen base guy. I'm upset they got rid of him. But, you had to give up something for Peralta, which ended up being terrible. Wish the Mets could get him back. I don't think they can get him back for Peralta one-on-one. You never know. But he's small. You could think Dustin Pedroia maybe. Dustin Pedroia was actually listed at 5'9", but he played with a chip on his shoulder. He's very aggressive, high energy. Now, Williams is a better athlete than Pedroia, much quicker. And Pedroia was a second baseman. Williams can play center field because of his speed. Khalid Durbin, a 5'7" guy. Williams, I think, has raw bat speed and exit velocity. In the upper minors, he was hitting the ball over 100 miles an hour. I would try to get him back. I really would. I don't know if you can, but I would ask for him for Peralta. You're not going to get up the nerve to ask for both of them, and you're not going to get equal value for what you gave up for Peralta. But depending on how serious Milwaukee is about winning the World Series, which you would think they are, and I think they'd be comfortable having Freddie back because he's pitched there before. He has an amazing home record in Milwaukee, and all his players know him already. The comfort factor is right there. He could just move into his old locker. They'd probably give him his old locker. I think Peralta, that's the best fit for him to go back to Milwaukee, probably, depending on what you can get from them. That's a nice catch. Brett Beatty's starting to hit. I feel like a schmuck always knocking him. Now, my friend liked Sproat to much more than I did, and I trust him a little more than me. He thinks Sproat is a bulldog. Um, he's a unique guy because he's not polished. He's explosive. He has a great repertoire. Um, I think there are guys you could probably compare him to. You look at his raw stuff. He has a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, a heavy sinker. He has stuff like Luis Castillo. Don't know if he'll ever get there, or Yordano Ventura, but he definitely has the stuff to be a number three. He'd have to get lucky to be a number two. He has a good mix. I would think if I had to predict where Sproat's going to be Mitch Keller from the Pirates. A serviceable third line, 13 and 12, 3.9, 4 ERA. That's what I think. Got good stuff. I think his stuff's a little better than Keller's. So the Mets are rallying here. First and third, one out. Ewing again with a hit. Telling you, if we had 30 games left, Ewing probably would have made the All-Star team. And Van Soto coming up. Seems like Soto's been coming up with a lot of runners on base. And Soto's not all that hot right now, if you notice. So I hope you're all doing well. Don't, how are you? Yes, wrote it. Hey, Waffle Iron Walrus. The Mets got so bad because I'm a fan. How you doing, man? Thank you for coming in. Look, yeah, Soto was over 300. He's 294 now. All you need is a sack fly here, one. See, this is the guy you want up. This Juan is terrific because Juan can lift the ball. Oh, he's challenging there. Soto looked really annoyed with that strike. I'll tell you, he's got somebody. I don't know if he's right here, but let's see. No, he's wrong. Met challenge. And you don't mind when Soto challenges. You don't. He has the confidence. I don't know how you could possibly challenge when you're looking at the pitcher. You're not supposed to be looking at the ball hit the glove. So how could you possibly know where it is? See, that's the pitch Carson Bench swings at, that inside pitch. I have to tell you, and I mean this, every single day, Ewing improves. I know, Will. Every day, Ewing improves. I see something in his game that improves every day. I'm not a scout, but when a 21-year-old's hitting 280 after a third of the season that he's played, he's played the third of the season now for the Mets, 50 something games. So 54 today, I think. So if you go on the third of the season, he's going to hit 21 homers, knock in 72 runs, and hit 280. And you would think in the summer months and him just being better, I don't know, could he get 20 homers this year? Ewing's, if you project his 54 games this year, he hits 21 home runs and knocks in 70 runs. Strikes out 150 times, but everyone strikes out 150 times. I sit here in this room, I strike out 100 times, I don't even play for a team. But look, 360 on base percentage, his OPS is 813. 813's elite. 813's all-star. Lindor's 770, 780. See, now when Ewing, even though Soto's Soto, when Ewing is really experienced, he would have stole second already. Because his speed is so elite, you have to make the throw down there, and then you can guide a guy, depending on the speed at third base, come home. Let's see here, 3-2. Walker's a guy that Kansas City could trade for something. He's serviceable. He's about 38. He was coming off injury when he came up with the Mets 6 years ago. He came to the Mets. Bases loaded. Soto's on twice a game. He's on. So we'll see. But look, the Mets are playing well today. I do see. I know they got blasted with Green as manager, but I do see a bit of a difference in their play. I think players just look more relaxed. I have a bet, William, on May 15th, I bet someone that Bichette would hit 275, 20-plus homers, and 100 RBIs. He gave me 2.5 to 1. I bet him 100 to win 250, to get back 250. There is no doubt in my mind that Bichette will not get 100 runs this year. He'll definitely not get 90. And I think he'll hit 275. Do you know Bichette, the first 15 games of the season, came up with more runners in scoring position than any player in baseball? If he would have just knocked in 10 runs, he'd be on pace for 120 RBIs. And if you notice, I'm going to jinx him now. He's not striking. He's not swinging and missing as much now. I think he's getting comfortable here. And I do have Lindor news for you. Press 1 if you want me to tell you. And there's a sac fly. And Bichette does the job. He's a tremendous hitter with runners in scoring position. Francisco Lindor. Now, listen, when I tell you this, I wasn't there. I would never bet my life on anything. But I will tell you something. I had a friend, Rich, about 20 years ago, and I saw him in a Kia parking lot. I ran up, jumped on his back jokingly, and the guy almost killed me because it wasn't him. And Kansas City starts throwing the ball around. And let's get another one, 5-2. So I could never have believed that that wasn't him. I would have bet my life on it. So I don't bet my life on shit. But this guy is a guy with an impeccable reputation, kind of like Frank Patangeli's brother in The Godfather, too. Oh God, the second baseman, the center fielder should have had that. And I'll tell you, he told me that Soto and Lindor have patched up their differences. This is what he told me. I don't know if it's true, but he said on the last road trip, they evidently went to the bar or the cafe in the hotel, and they were there for a couple of hours. They were actually on the laptop looking at some video on the picture for the next day. And supposedly they kind of are on the same page. Now, does that mean they're friends? I don't think so. But he said he definitely, I told you, he goes in the clubhouse. He definitely does see a warmer relationship. And then when Soto made that diving catch the other night, you saw Lindor joking around with him, high-fiving him, laughing hysterical. And you didn't see that last year. I think they are trying. I don't think they have the personalities, both of them, to be friends. They're just not alike. But that doesn't mean that they can't want to win. And there's no doubt in my mind both of them want to win. You know, don't think for a second because Lindor jokes around with the guy that doubled in 3 runs. I don't think there's anything to do with Lindor wanting to win. I think he wants to win. I think he wants to be liked as much. I don't think Soto gives a shit if you like him or not. I think that's the difference. And you got to remember, back then, he was looking to be captain, Lindor. You know, Lindor was he was in captain mode, smiling around everybody, arm around everybody, home run dances, all that. No reason to do it now because he's not going to be captain. But I was told that they kind of have patched things up. Or if they hadn't patched things up, they're on the same page. And, you know, I have a feeling Lindor probably told him, look, Juan, that's my personality. I want to win just as much as you. And there's that barrel up rate that I talked about with Alvarez. That had to be hit 105 miles an hour. I hope they give you the velo on that. That was at least 105 miles an hour, that ball. Oh, hit him right in the nuts. So, yeah, I think they can work together. I think he probably told Juan, look, that's just my personality. I don't mean any disrespect. I still want to win. And I think Soto probably understood. And he probably said, look, my personality's, you know, I'm all work. I'm not running for office like your wife. And I think that they worked it out. Do I think they're going to be friends? No, but I think where Lindor might have been sitting with his iPad in the corner of a bar in the hotel, I think Soto now, if he's walking by, will stop in and say, hey, Francisco, where before he'd probably just nod and walk by. Now I think he'd actually go in and say hi. I think they both will work together. I think they also know that I think Lindor wants to stay here, and I think it would help Lindor because, honestly, if there's a choice, they're going to keep Soto. Lindor's wife wants to be here. Lindor doesn't want to leave New York. And I think Lindor really, it's more on him to show that he can get along with Soto, believe it or not, even though Lindor's been here a few years. It's more on him because Soto is your best player. He's your Hall of Famer. He's the guy that the team is building around. You have to get on the ride. And I think that's what's going on. But I can't tell you how impressed. Yeah, Waka Waka, they should trade him. But I can't tell you how impressed I am with Ewing. Where pitchers should be figuring him out, it seems like he's making the adjustment as quick as they make the adjustment. Because now, you're at 150 at bats now for the season. Pitchers should be figuring out your weaknesses and strengths. And it seems to me, I might be wrong, but it just seems to me that he's getting better every game, that they're not figuring him out. Either that or he's just a diligent worker and that he is just constantly in the so-called video room. Now they don't have to be in there. They have their own iPads. And I think he's just that hard a worker. I truly do. Mets are hitting the ball today. We'll see. Win the series. But they definitely do have a chance with these young players. And Beatty's getting hot. Look at Beatty smiling. So I was talking to him about Ewing, Benj, and Morabito, who he thought was better. He thought Benj has the highest ceiling. He thought he had the tools to be the best player of the three of them. I personally think Ewing. They all bring something different. Carson Benj, first of all, he's a former first-round pick. When you're a first-round pick, they automatically give you a little more leeway. But his approach at the plate for a guy that's only been up a couple hundred times in the major leagues is pretty good. He makes contact. He has some power, and he has the plus arm. When he was on the mound, he was hitting 96. And that's going to dunk in, too. No foul. So he thought he had the highest ranking, an impactful middle of the order bat. It depends if you like that or if you like, speed. You see, Ewing has risen very quickly in the last year. I think he's risen more than anybody. His elite speed, that turns everybody's head. And his strike zone discipline, and he gets on base. Now, his raw power looks like it's under Benj, but over the last couple of weeks, it looks like he has as much power. In fact, his home runs are longer than Benj's. Now, he has a very lower than normal chase rate. And, if you walk him, it could be a triple because of his speed. So what do you want, a top of the order guy with a 370 on base percentage or a middle of the order guy with 350? Yeah, I agree, Will. And then you look at Morabito. He put him third on the list of the three outfielders. He thinks he's talented. He's a high contact guy. He said he's the best base runner of the three of them, Nick Morabito. He's actually the best. He's like Ewing with the speed, but he's actually a better instinctual base runner. But I don't think he's going to project with any power. That was a nice play. He's more of probably a line drive guy. I look at him as your Jeff McNeil, but for the outfield. My ratings are AJ Ewing's on top because of his plus speed and his zone discipline. I think that will afford him to have a higher on base percentage than Carson Bench. But Bench is going to hit the power. I wouldn't be surprised if Bench became a 30 home run guy. I really wouldn't. I think Bench this year is going to hit 22. Bench reminds me of Nemo a lot, but I think he could be a less. I think he'll strike out less than Nemo, have much more speed than Nemo, and be a better overall outfielder. And Nick Morabito, I think, a pure contact guy, a terrific base runner. And if you remember when I talk about a 4A player, where you're too good for the minors, but not quite good enough for the majors, well, I think Morabito is going to be a 4A outfielder. I think he's not going to quite hit enough with power to be an everyday outfielder unless he hit 330. Look, Luis Ariz, the first baseman. This guy hits 330 every year, and no one wants to keep him because he hits 7 homers at first base. That's a power position. But I think Morabito is going to be a guy that you just wish he had a little more power. I think that he will be Harrison Bader, a 10 home run, 50 RBI guy. I think he'll ask for Jet Williams back. Why not? I think Milwaukee's going to want Peralta. I definitely do. Because, you have to worry, Will, that when players go to a new organization, they have to get acclimated. This guy knows everybody on the team. They could literally give him his old locker back to make him feel comfortable. His family, his wife knows everybody there. He has friends in Milwaukee. He can just fall right back into the old routine. And that's big. And that's worth a lot when you don't have to worry if pitcher can pitch for you. Already he has friends on that team. They all love him. They say the teammates love him. He's a veteran. They probably feel, although he's not having a great year, he could help Brandon Sprout. And he has an amazing record at home. Will, could you pull that up? His home starts for his career in Milwaukee. Okay, I have it. He's 35-19 with a 3.31 ERA over 102 games. In 25, he was 4-0 with a 1.32 ERA in 7 games. So I have to tell you, I think Milwaukee would really be hot for him. I definitely do. And I think he'd fit perfect there. I really do think he'd be great there. And I'm sure he'd be successful there. It's a comfort factor there. I think there's definitely Yeah, I got it. Thank you, Will. Oh yeah, I you see that's the key. The key is you don't have to worry if he comes there and he's going to be uncomfortable. The guy's comfortable there. He knows every teammate. He's friends with all of them. He has a great record at home, and you got to get him for 7 or 8 starts at home and playoffs. So you got to love him. And I know they love his personality. They think he's great in the clubhouse. They're not worried about screwing up the clubhouse vibe there. I definitely think that he is a guy that they should really be after. Well, they're not going to give you both back. They won't give you Sprout. You could probably get. I think you can get Jet Williams back. You might have to throw in someone. Maybe you throw in Vientos. You make Jet Williams your second baseman, and you could also play center field. So depending, I would play Ewing and Jet Williams, see who the better second baseman is. But meanwhile, Manaea is giving you 5 2/3 of 2-run ball. He's given up 2 homers, which is his bugaboo. But he's giving you 75 pitches. And he's going to go probably into the 6th. You know, it looks like it was the right move to keep Manaea. Yeah, I have a feeling he is hurt. I don't think his hand's broken, but you know what? To swing a bat with that hand, it could take a week or two. But the Mets are definitely going to be very busy. Who finished 6th? So going through the Mets, Freddie Peralta, I give him a 99% chance to get traded. You know, he was supposed to be the answer, but he wasn't. You know, starting pitching is always at a premium. It really is. I, 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 I think you could have a bidding war between the Astros, Cubs, and Milwaukee, because the Astros need him too. And anybody is going to consider him a buy low candidate, although you're going to have to give up something for him. I don't think they're going to give Sprout up. What are they in the top 7 now? What are they in the bottom 7? Bottom 6, right? He went 6, yeah. Clay Holmes, he was the Mets ace. Now, teams are definitely going to follow his progress in his comeback. And, he has a player option next year. And that kind of muddies things a little. But would you swallow the remaining 3.9 for a frontline arm? I think someone would. I wonder if the Mets are going to trade Holmes. Milwaukee could be interested in. You could trade Holmes and Peralta. But then you're going to lose 95 games. And Bo Bichette. It's interesting. Bichette has not had a good year by anyone's stretch of the imagination, and he's on target right now for about 18 homers and 90 RBIs. I think they're going to get a lot for the relief guys. I really do. He's been dominant. His last 25 games, Weaver has like a 1.6 ERA. He has an extra year of team control. That gives the Mets a lot of leverage because of that extra year, and he's not making a lot of money. Any top tier contender, and the Mets are going to want a premium return for him. AJ Minter has been great. I think he's given up one run, right, in 15 appearances, and his expiring contract. He's an easy flip. He could definitely. You have a lot of teams. I think the Phillies would want him. Dodgers, Orioles, Braves. He probably fit nice with Braves. And Razaban, got lit up. But I think because of the options and everything, the Mets will keep him. And especially if they flip the other guys, they'll keep him. Hey, Thomas. Rayleigh's 38 years old. He's having another great year. He's like an under the radar rental that anybody would want. I could see the Blue Jays wanting him. Maybe the Tigers. Then you have guys that you're not going to get full trade value for them. Yeah, I would want Minter. I didn't go, Thomas. I hurt my back. Francisco Alvarez, a 24-year-old catcher with a major ceiling. And you have 6 or 7 teams that need a catcher that are in the playoff hunt. And he's under team control, but I think until 30. Senga, you're not going to get anything for Senga. He has 0 trade value right now. You're better off holding on to him. I think the Mets. Thank you, Tom. I think the Mets would have to keep Tobias Myers if they trade 2 starters. If they trade one, I don't know. Tobias Myers, you're going to also sell low on. MJ Melendez, someone could want as an outfield that could play first base, could play the outfield. He's not going to kill anyone out there. It's not terrible today, Dave. Dave, what do you think of the soccer game? I was going to bet France over 2.5 goals for the game. The both teams combined score over 2.5. What do you think of that? Oh, thank you, Dave. Minter and Rayleigh, he's going to aggressively move, and he's going to have to move Peralta. Holmes, he's going to have to get bowled over for. The real drama is if they cash in on Weaver's massive trade value, because you're never going to get higher trade value than for Weaver. Do you think those teams will go over 2.5 goals for the game? And Dave, I like the total shots over 14 for France. France should hold the ball 70% of the time in that game. I could definitely see someone wanting Melendez. Absolutely. Because he could play first and the outfield and he won't kill you. And look, coming off the bench, he's the left-handed Tyrone Taylor. That's what he is. Over to what, David? Melendez is the Tyrone Taylor without the defense, the platoon. But I think that we're going to. The Mets are going to gut this team. Stearns got what he wanted. You can have a couple of guys left. Next year, there'll be 2 guys left on this team. Not literally, you know what I mean. When's the last time Mania pitched 7 innings? Nice to see Starling Marte also. William, you never know. I don't think so. And I'm a very positive Met fan. Mania looks terrific, I tell you. It looks like we traded the right guy to Chicago. Well, they didn't want Mania because of the salary. Mania is a better pitcher than Peterson. I would think they offered Mania and they didn't take it. But you look at Peterson and Mania, how they project out now. Mania is having the better season, obviously. Mania's been more reliable than him. The thing with Mania that I looked at, Mania misses bats much more. Peterson doesn't miss bats anymore. Um, so he manages the damage a little. Mania better now, but he's a strikeout per inning guy. Mania just dropped off. Peterson dropped off the cliff. He can't limit hard contact anymore. Far too many base runners. But I trust Mania more than I do Peterson. Well, because Peterson just walks guys. Mania doesn't walk as many. Mania's stuff is better. Look at this play by Soto. Oh my god. He wanted to see where the runner was. He took his eye off the ball. Soto looked up. Take a look. He looked up to see where he was. Right here, watch. There he is. You looked up to see if he was going for second. Yeah, I remember when I was threes doesn't matter anymore. Threes. This is a guy I'd like to see on the Mets next year. Maybe you send Brett Beatty and someone else over there if Beatty gets hot. He could be a first baseman for a while if you decide to trade Clifford. I don't think Clifford has big interest. And it's 6-3. Now, Minaya will be gone now, right? And this run might be unearned. Yeah, this might be unearned, this run. No lead is safe, Will. You're absolutely right, my friend. But we'll see. Razavan, what a haircut he has. Oh boy. Yeah. Let's just get out of this inning. Uh, he's 2-0 now. Problem is, you give up another base runner, a home run ties the game. 2-1. Three and one. Let's see. And ball four. Yeah, William. Nothing could ever be easy for this team. That Jared Oliva, that the Mets designated that they got, he's gone. So Brazaban, they're still keeping Minai in? I guess they don't have any faith. They're keeping the lefty against the righty. I don't understand this. What the fuck was that? What was on his mind? He bunts? I think he has to be talked to, that rookie. It wasn't even a good bunt. You bunted in front of the plate. Does that make sense? See, the Mets aren't the well. That's why this team is also a terrible team. Yeah, Thomas, I don't get that. I'm sure they're going to. Well, if he bunts it down the third base line, well, you're right. Then another last place team. You're absolutely right. David, are you still there? I'm putting clothes on so I could actually come on screen with you. Look like a cheap porn. All right. Hello, everybody. It would. You'd be. You and all your ancestors would be blind. All right. See if Soto's up every inning. Beck Way, the former Yankee. Soto's just getting behind balls. It looks like he's a little tired, Soto. He's missing fastballs right down the plate. Although I'm guessing, I think he's going to hit a home run here, or at least hit the ball deep. And I swear I'm not ahead of you. Let's see. 0-2 takes that pitch. Yeah, I think he's going to go deep, or at least hit the ball well. You see Holmes in the dugout. Oh my God! Did I call it? Did I just call it? Who is better than me? Who is better than me? Who just called Soto's home run? I knew the swing. I saw it. All game, he was a fraction behind, and he made the adjustment. All right. There you go. So, yeah, I got to guess lotto numbers now. Did he do anything with Lindor? Oh, Lindor's not playing. Let's see if they show Lindor in it. Why is he banging? What's he mad about? Did you see he just banged? He just went crazy and banged the helmet? He banged the. I hope he didn't hurt himself or anything. He was banging the helmet like he was mad. Not. He looks mad. Another fucking hit for Beatty? Oh, bench. I don't know, Thomas. Something's up. He doesn't look happy, and he banged that helmet. If that's how intense he is, I can see why he doesn't get along with Lindor now. He just hit a 420-foot home run. He's pissed. He's probably pissed because he missed the pitch before. Because I saw he was right on that pitch before, and that's why I thought he was going to go deep. He was right on, and he made the adjustment. He's mad. What the hell's he mad about? Oh, I think he's mad about that error in the outfield. Maybe I don't even see Lindor in the clubhouse. Keep on calling it the clubhouse. All right, so Soto does his Soto thing. Soto's unbelievable. He really is. I think that this trade deadline, I'm really looking forward to it. It's hard to trade a star like Lindor mid-season. That's a full season trade, off season trade because you have other teams involved. You know, because of salaries and team needs, you don't get the same return at the trade deadline. A guy like Lindor, honestly, is not as important to a team than a guy like Weaver right now. I think after the season, guys like Lindor and stuff get traded after the season. He's this is the fifth year of the deal. He's owed 5 more years. Um, we'll see. And they need players that can help them now. That's the problem. The Mets. Razavon. I guess he wanted him coming in a clean inning. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't sell low. I definitely wouldn't sell low. Razavon coming back now. Vientos, it's right. You know what's going to happen now with that hand. Um, we'll see. And the funny thing is, not the funny thing. Uh, AJ Ewing went to second base for the first time in his career. Now, I don't know what this does. It makes me happy that I'm not going to see him anymore. But other than that, and Green, the only two times he started at third base this year was for Green. He started him twice at third base. I'd like to see Ewing at second base more. I definitely would. I know. I don't like the home run derby for players. I don't. I think it just screws up your swing. Be fun to watch him there, but Bench is up to 269. Ewing is at 279. Soto again, a hit and two at bats, 2 runs scored, 2 walks. What a year! His on base percentage is 414 now. His slugging percentage is 579. We'll see. You know what would really be funny? If Soto started getting along with Lindor, they became friends. They traded Lindor, and Soto got pissed and demanded a trade. Oh, Soto's unbelievable. Soto's the right now. I think Soto's the best hitter in the major leagues right now. I do. Right now, he's just so locked in. Scooble for Lindor. They're trying to get rid of contract. Um, be an interesting trade. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know why he's doing it. Good inning. It's a good bounce back inning. You want to see Brazaban come back with a strong outing. Yeah, it can ruin a lot of. It ruins your timing. Ruins your timing. It definitely has to tire you out a bit. But look, he's our guy. What are we going to do? We just need the support group, even with a pending win. I don't know what to do, man. I'm not used to the Mets winning. Well, eventually they're going to get sick of giving it to Otani. Otani's unbelievable, though. Really is unbelievable. You know, Carson Bench pitched in college or whatever. I wish that they would bring Benj in a blowout just to pitch an inning. They're afraid he'd hurt his arm, but it'd be interesting. Probably it's good stuff. Soto's having a great year. He really is. Otani's unreal, though. Following the Rangers. The Rangers have been fielding inquiries for Adam Fox, but they refuse to trade him. Let's see something here. It's the kids that are really helping the Mets. Juan Soto has missed. Let's see something here. I, 70.31. Right now, 2.31. He's on pace for about a 7 WAR. Juan Soto. 21 homers now, right? 50 RBIs. OPS 978. His OPS plus is 171 this year so far. I want to see who leads. Where is it? Right now, Yordan Alvarez, Soto's second, Otani's third for OPS. Yeah. He has a 310 average, 416 on base percentage, 614 slug. Ben Rice has a better slug than Soto. Is that Tyrone? You see what happens when you don't play Tyrone Taylor all the time? It's amazing when you use guys the way you're supposed to use them. James Wood's a good player for Washington. I could see him being a future MVP one year. He's probably hit 40 homers this year, 45. Games, 12 RBIs. Soto would probably be like 25 and 65 right now if he didn't miss 20 games. Young hurt now? What's wrong with him? Well, if Young is hurt, maybe you see Clifford. Devin Williams and Savanian Curry. They're really going to give Curry a chance in the bullpen now. They want to see what they have with him. What story about Nelson, William? 80 swings have been better of late. He looks like he's changed his stance a little. Um, he can't hit the high fastball, Beatty. That's a bad at bat. How he swinging the balls over your head? Do you know? I think I read this stat. In one of the years, Boggs didn't pop up once or popped up once to the infield the whole season. That's unbelievable. Oh boy. Red Sox come into town tomorrow. Gray and McLean. Gray's been great. 7:15 start. Into the All Star break. I'm gonna make a nice thumbnail for the Boston Met series. I should make it retro, the '86 Mets. Did Pete Alonso make the All Star team? Dan Hammer was brought up. He's having a good year in the minors. Let's see. Okay, here's the roster. For the National League, Drake Baldwin, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Ozzy Albies, Max Muncy, C.J. Abrams, Brandon Marsh, Juan Soto, and Andy Paget or Pages, whatever he calls himself. American League, Shea Langoliers. I wish the Mets had him. Yordan Alvarez, he's great. Nick Kurtz, great. Ernie Clement, Junior Caminero, Bobby Witt Jr., Mike Trout, Byron Buxton. I thought he was hurt. Aaron Judge, he's hurt too. Braves, Dodgers, and Phillies sent 5 players to the All Star game. Freddie Freeman got there for the 10th time, and Chris Sale got there for the 10th time. Harper got picked as a legend pick by Manfred, and Trout 12 times. Langoliers is good. American League pitchers Brian Baker, Dylan Cease, Aroldis Chapman, Jacob Latz, Parker Messick, he's good. Drew Rasmussen, Joe Ryan, Cam Schlittler, Cade Smith, Ranger Suarez, he's hurt. He's going to miss the series with the Mets. Luis Volland, Michael Waka, he did make the All-Star team. National League, Chase Burns, Yohan Duran, Razel Iglesias. The Mets scored the first run off him in a year. Max Meyer, Mason Miller, Jacob Mizorowski, throws the ball 300 miles an hour. Eduardo Rodriguez, Chris Sale, Christopher Sanchez, he got bombed this last time. Paul Skeens, Logan Webb, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Say that 3 times. It's like saying Beetlejuice. Nelson. Really? That's funny. I remember Joe Pignatano. Eddie Yost. Remember Eddie Yost? I thought Ewing went in at second base. Did they move him back? Just throw strikes. He's 13 for 15 in saves with a 4.85 ERA. Opponents have a 780 on base percentage. All right. Here's one away. I don't know if I could do the happy dance today with my back. I could do this for you. Maybe Lindor's feeling a little happier now. God knows why. But he's looking over at towards Soto, smiling. Probably happy Soto didn't kill him. Good pitch. Woo! There's that airbender. Oh, I'm not going to stress it, Ray, but I will do a little of this, probably. Josh Rojas. He just took the mantle from Vientos for worst swing. Devin just coming in, throwing strike. Yeah, Tom, I don't think I can do it today. It's not terrible, but I don't want to. I'm taking a maintenance day. This is my maintenance day off. No Wheeler yet for the All-Star game. Yeah, Wheeler, I'm surprised. What's he, 9-1? I think Weaver should have been named to the All-Star game. How is Weaver not named? Weaver has top 3 stats for a reliever. Right? How is Weaver not an All-Star? He's had a great year. There it is. This guy had no shot. I had almost as good a shot at this guy as hitting that ball. Devin Williams, funky beard he's got. Was that a strike? It's close. Always shortchange him. He should have been an All-Star, definitely, Thomas. Absolutely. He's having a great year. His stats are better than most relievers in baseball. Nick Lofton, this guy has good power. He looks like he'd be a Philly, right? Williams means business. This is big. get back in the win column. Hope things work out for Seth. He was a little upset yesterday. And the pitch, 2-2. I'm surprised they're using him with Boston coming up. And with McLean pitching tomorrow. There's a base hit. So, yeah, we should have swept this series. Keith was a great player. I think that Keith will be named eventually, probably. You got to put Don Mattingly in if you put Keith in, right? Don Mattingly for 3 years was the best player in the American League. I would have liked to see Don Mattingly's stats if he didn't get hurt. Would have hit another 150 homers probably. Yeah, the Veterans Committee. I would think so. There are a lot of guys that the Veteran Committee. I'm going to. I got a lot of questions, and I told people that I'd answer them. But there's a lot of guys that should be in the hall, really. Uh, Todd Helton, right? Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer. Got a lot of guys. I'll answer some of these mail questions in a bit. And there's a ground ball the second. Put it in the books. He almost dropped it. All right. It's like the sign language dance. Thank you, William. Mets win. Good win for the Mets. I want to know what Soto was annoyed about. I think they'll probably ask him, and we'll check it out. He likes the kids, Soto. You see, he's always yelling at. He likes the kids. I didn't see him smile at all this year, Soto. Tyrone Taylor's like hit a home run. Probably get the fuck out of here now. You know, guys are looking to win so they can get traded. But Soto again, another great game. He looks all business, doesn't he? He's either there's no in between. He's either smiling or miserable. Sean Manaea, 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs earned, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. How could you expect? Yeah, there's something up with that, William. I don't know if he tweaked his, did something and didn't tell anybody. It's something though. Who is this at? What are they showing here? Manaea in the clubhouse waiting for them to come in? Why don't you just go outside? Yeah. Fucking 93,222 games out of first place, and he's doing this. Yeah, Soto does look mad. The guys that smile the most are the guys that don't do anything. right? Right? The guys that sit on the bench and do nothing are the ones that smile. I would think at the end, after the All Star break, you're going to see Luis Robert back in the lineup. You'll see Ewing at second a little. Well, I was told that's going to happen. And we'll see what happens. But look, it was a great win. A great win. I don't want them to lose 100. Let me get to 5 of these questions here. Vin, how are you, Brooklyn guy? I'm good. Talisha or Talashiba. Yeah, right, William. Uh, what do I think of the Met youngsters' progress? Do I think that they have a chance to be this good, or are they just surging? Um, no, I think they have a chance to be this good. Yeah, the Phillies. Well, the Marlins will collapse too. Phillies are going to the division. I think that, yeah, I think they'll hit a roadblock in August. You'll get Ewing 1 for 20 in August. With a couple of walks in there because he has a good eye. Bench, the same thing. You notice Bench goes to 265, 268, down to 259, back up to 264 because he doesn't have extended streaks, nor does Ewing, and that's what's saving them, really. Hey, don't follow. Yeah, the Braves are collapsed. Well, the Braves are hurt. Braves aren't that good. When I saw them playing against the Mets, I don't think they're that good. Uh, and Philly's a better team. But this is Philly's last hurrah. They don't win this year. They're going to rebuild. Vin, how are you? Charles for support. Okay, I like that name. Do I think McLean will be as good as advertised? I don't know how he's advertised. They advertise him as a frontline starter. Yeah, I think he'll be a frontline starter. But every team has a different type of frontline starter. You could have a Scooble, a Max Fried. Um, I think McLean for the Mets could be an ace. Yeah. Topping out 2.9 ERA, 2.8 ERA. I almost like Scott better. I'll give you one more here. Thank you, Charles. Haven, Brooklyn. Hey, Eddie. Uh, do I feel that there is an unrepairable rift between Lindor and Soto? And if so, which one will be traded? Should they just move on from both of them? No, no. You'll have 9 people in the stands if you get rid of both of them. No, I think they. I just don't think that they like each other. I don't think they dislike each other. I just don't think they like each other. I think they're teammates. Let me tell you, I played softball once on a team where I saw a few of them on the field. Never saw them outside. I didn't dislike them. I don't think they disliked me. Yeah, I something's up with Soto though. He looked upset. He really did. I'm sure someone will ask. You see now, a good reporter will ask. They might ask Green, why did Soto look that way? But we'll see. It should be an interesting weekend. Boston's always interesting. They don't hit either. We'll see what happens. Sonny Gray is a good pitcher. Sonny Gray could get traded. Well, Boston might still think they can win, but Sonny Gray, he's older now. He's 38, and he has proven he really can't pitch in New York with the Yankees 10 years ago. But who knows? Sonny Gray's had a good career. If you take out the Yankee part of his career, Sonny Gray's been real good. But look, it's a win. We win 2 of 3 from a team. Quite frankly, we're supposed to win 2 of 3 from. You know, we caught them when they were hot. They put 15 up, and they knocked the hell out of Sanchez, who might win Cy Young Award. Um, you got them hot. They came in hot, and you cooled them down the second and third game. Well, no, not really the second game, but you cooled them down. But the Mets did what they had to do. Just got to go out and win, and let the standings take care of itself. Would you have ever believed? Look, crazy thing. Would you ever believe the Marlins would be a couple of games out of first place? Right? Would you ever believe the Mets would win 12, lose 12 in a row? What is more likely coming into the season? The Mets losing 12 in a row or winning 12 in a row? Probably winning 12 in a row. Now, the Mets are going to have to do it within the next 3 weeks because Peralta's going to be gone, Holmes might be gone, a couple of bullpen pieces might be gone, and then they're not going to win 12 in a row. But it would be really interesting. That's baseball, Susan. It would be really interesting now if the Mets went 12-2. No, if the Mets went 15-4 and a 5 out of the wild card. What does Stearns do? Because Met fans, they're going to be screaming, "Told you it wasn't over," and then they'll be screaming at Stearns for ruining a playoff chance. This guy can't win at all. Stearns, he should just resign because he's always going to be hated. No one is going to. I think if they win the World Series next year, they won't forget this year. People just hate Soto, hate him because he comes off smug. I don't really know if he is. I don't know the guy, but he comes off that way. I agree, Ray. I agree. Let me get the remote control for this TV. And we'll see what they have to say about it.
Mets Postgame live, Jerry Apple. Jerry Blevins back in
Jerry Blevins was good.
It's first time in about a month here, Jerry. The Mets have won a series. They hadn't won one since the middle of last month when they took 2 out of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. They do take 2 out of 3 here from the Kansas City Royals. A lot of offense to speak about. Sean Manaea, we'll get to all of it in just a little bit. Let's get back out to the ballpark right now. Get a look at our notes from this game, and it did not begin well for the aforementioned Sean Manaea, giving up leadoff home run on the very first pitch of the game. William Thomas in the leadoff spot today for the Royals, a very quick 1-0 Kansas City lead. The Mets came back, tied the game in the second inning. Carson Bench with a walk, and then Jared Young. Happy birthday, Jared Young. His 31st birthday in the right field corner out there. Knocks in a run, and the game was tied.
Jared Young, 31.
Kansas City then went back in front in the fourth inning. The always dangerous Bobby Witt.
Ray, I didn't go. I hurt my back. I don't know what I did. I did something to it. It's killing me.
This game came off the bench after Mark Vientos got hit by a pitch on the head. And he goes yard. That has been 3 consecutive games. Heller has homered when he gets. And at that, the Mets ended up getting 5 runs in the inning. Carson Bench gets to the boot signal. He fights it off in the center field right here.
Yankees up big over Rays. Yeah. Yankees aren't winning anything. I don't worry about the Yankees. I just don't think they have enough. Where rotate there.
7-3 over the Kansas City Royals, and it's a winner out of Sean Manaea, who puts up his second victory of the season.
You say that.
Yeah,
you say that.
Right? That is strictly a biz statement right there. And let's begin with Sean Manaea. Great to see him go 7 innings today. Picks up the victory, 7 innings, 6 hits, and 3 runs, 6 punch-outs. And I go back to the fact when you limit the walks, it makes a difference. And he had just 1 walk.
Pinch hit dances. Yeah, the Yankees, they're a good team, but that would worry me if you can't win with Aaron Judge out of the lineup. God, is Volpe has fallen from grace, right? They thought he was going to be a superstar. But look, the Mets did well. I want to hear these interviews. I'll put them on for you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Yankees have a problem. The evil empire. Yeah, they have a problem. We have a bigger one though. Hey, JG. Yeah, I know, JG. Sorry about that. I didn't go today. I hurt my back. Something's wrong. I had a lower back issue. I had herniated discs. Well, it hasn't really bothered me, but I don't know. Something happened. So I wasn't in the mood. Well, I want to know what happened with Soto. Soto was definitely mad. You would think maybe he hurt himself again. Jerry Blevins was good. I think, looking at Soto now, I think he's the best player the Mets ever had. I really do believe that. Mets never had a player as good as him. He really is something. And I believe he'll go. I thank you, JD. I think he'll go to the Hall of Fame as a Met. Yeah, William, I agree. Well, because Stearns insists on calling up, going to the scrap heap for pitchers. We don't have enough pitching, and it's been like that for a couple of years now. We don't have enough pitching. You can't bring in a guy and you embarrass the shit out of him with his family there. I don't know if his family, and then you designate him for assignment. That was so terrible. Soto's last 25 games, he's hitting 354, 8 homers, 20 RBIs, a 1229 OPS. It's pretty scary. Soto's been great. I wonder if they mentioned.
I'm not overly impressed. Like, I'm super impressed. I'm enjoying it, but this isn't like, Tolbert, who went 13 or 12 for 12 in consecutive at-bats. This isn't out of the realm of possibilities on how he's going to play all season long. The guy is just on a different level than every other mere humans down here. The fact that we get to watch him is a blessing, but he's so disciplined at the plate. He's so smart.
He is disciplined. He really is. Did he really? Isn't that scary, William? This is who Stearns wants pitching for the Mets at Citi Field. Unbelievable. I want to hear Greeny. No, I agree. I agree, Ray. They have to spend money next year on pitching. I know you're going to have McLean. You might have Wettinger. You might have Holmes. Right? I don't want to hear Senga threw well during the offseason. He changed his, I don't know, he eats more sushi. I don't want to hear any bullshit. I don't want to hear any bullshit about Senga. Let me tell I'm freezing my balls off here. Let me turn this air conditioner on. Yeah, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear. Senga new routine. He learned Japanese. I don't know.
When you do something like that, everything else hurts.
Happy birthday, Jared.
All right, once you survive that play, you can sit back and think about a great day offensively for yourself. 2 doubles. What were you most pleased with in your at bats?
Look at how old the interviewer. I forget his name. Not Kevin Burkhardt. Who is that? Look how old he looks now. He turned gray since like June 1st.
How difficult is it to do what Tyrone Taylor did today, where you don't know that you're coming in off the bench?
So anyway, yeah, I don't want to. This is what I don't want to hear. Hey, Dave, how are you, man? Thank you very much. Nice one, Dave. When are you going to come on? If I drop the link, I want you to say hi to me. I want to meet you. If I drop the link, will you come on? Will you say hello? Gelb, Steve Gelb, yeah. Yeah, Burkhart now I'm a bigger shot than I'm fucking ESPN. Fucking, he's landed on the moon. He's done everything. Yeah, well, because Stearns is a cheap cocksucker. But you know what? Dave, I want you to come in and say hello to me. Will you come in? You could just say yes or no, and I'll drop the link. You know what? How about I drop the link, and anybody who wants to come in can come in and say hi. How's that? There's the link. If you'd like to come in and say hi, you are more than welcome. 3:51. What time does the soccer game start? Oh, okay, Dave. Well, if you ever find your way through the phone, you're more than welcome to come in. Let me see here. Total shots I was going to play for France. France total shots. Yeah, it's high, 15.5. You know what? What the fuck? I waste $70 a week on fucking Starbucks. I'll bet this. So, take care, Thomas. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's go Mets. Yeah, I don't want to hear I don't want to hear. Well, you know how he talks. Well, you know, Kodai is a very competitive guy, and he wants to win, and fuck you. He wants to win. I want to be 30 again. That's not happening either. I don't want him. I don't want to see him anymore. I don't want to see him anymore. I've had enough. I've had enough of Senga. I don't want to see Senga. I don't even want to eat Japanese food anymore for a year. I just don't want to fucking see him anymore. I can't take it. David Peterson, I didn't want to see him anymore. I put ESPN on the other day, and the first fucking thing that was on was Peterson. I can't catch a break. Thank God the baseball god said, all right, hide the pink shit from Alvarez so Vinny doesn't have to go crazy. I don't have to watch that anymore. I don't want to see Vientos anymore. I don't want to see him get hurt, but I don't want to see him anymore. Let him get almost hurt. Let him get hurt to the point where they can't find out what's wrong. It really doesn't hurt him that much, but they won't let him play. How's that? Was that fair? I don't want to see him anymore. Brett Beatty, I'm not a fair weather. I don't give a shit if Beatty's doing good. I still don't want to see Beatty anymore because I know what Beatty is. Because Beatty's going to stroke you for 2 weeks and he's going to go 3 for 700 until September. I know. Hey, Eddie. Yeah, it hurts like a prick. I don't know what the fuck I did to it. I have a herniated disc. I'll tell you what I think it is. I think it's this chair. I really do. When I teach, there's a nice chair. It's padded. This one's padded. It's fake leather, the whole deal. But I think I was sitting like this, and it was I don't know. What the fuck do I know? I didn't go to medical school. But thank you, Ed. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, so there are things I don't want. I don't want to see Senga. I don't want to hear he's throwing well. I don't want to hear he has a new trainer. I don't want to hear he doesn't eat sushi anymore. I don't want to hear that he moved. I don't want a new dog. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You know what I want to hear? Senga's with the Hichibu Lions in Japan. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to see Vientos anymore. God bless him. Let him go be fucking Babe Ruth in Kansas City. I don't give a shit. I don't want to see Mark Vientos anymore. I've seen enough. Brett Beatty. I don't want to see Beatty anymore. I know what Brett Beatty is. Beatty's a guy that gets hot for 2 weeks and then is cold for 2 months. I got shot in the leg. I didn't drop like that. Oh, that hand looks bad, though. I don't want him to be hurt.
Eddie, first of all, do you guys have an update on Vientos?
He has a fracture. Probably shouldn't get into the details because I haven't gotten all of them. It's going to be an IL placement.
All right, then he's out for the year.
Evaluated right now.
I know you said you can't get into details, but is surgery on the table for it right now?
I don't have the answer to that right now.
What?
The surgery on the table.
Sean's performance today.
Just wanted
He
to
got
be
hurt
first.
8 minutes ago.
Filled up the strike zone. Anybody that gives up a homer on the first pitch and just goes right back in there all day, you just love that. He filled up.
All right, Vientos is probably out for the year.
2 solo home runs, and then I thought maybe they're in the 7th. Got a little tired
because hand injuries, you're out 6 to 8 weeks, and then you got to ramp up for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So he's done.
Had a relatively crisp 6th. But I just think that starts to
all right. I don't like to see anybody hurt.
It was fantastic. It was huge for us.
Yeah, I'm sorry he was hurt too. I don't like to see anybody hurt.
7 strong. Couldn't ask for anything more.
You mentioned that rally inning. It's now 5 straight games where you guys.
Yeah, Philly's going to win that division.
You had that similar inning last.
And the Marlins will drop out.
Across the board, what are you liking about the types of at-bats that you guys are putting up?
Like,
those are great at-bats.
Yeah, you see Vientos. I don't like to see him hurt.
Really
I want him out.
I thought Juan going first to third, put a lot of pressure on them, threw it away, ended up going home. You'd love to see that kind of base running from your star player. That's amazing, actually.
No, he got hit in the hand, broken hand, fracture.
Think he was great. Think just across the board, you love.
That's I don't like to see that.
Carson's at-bat's really good. You really have to stop and think about how great Tyrone Taylor was today coming off the bench. Not necessarily the matchups that are ideal for him. He's really swung the bat well. Homered a couple times in Atlanta, homered today.
Yeah, he is playing well.
Off a drop down righty.
Maybe we could trade him.
He's been really good, and he's an unbelievable teammate.
How do you know? You're not his teammate.
I'm certain wants to be out there more consistently than he is. But he's on the top rail, living and breathing and dying with everybody's at bat.
This guy's going a little,
unbelievable guy.
He's better off going in front of him and blowing him. It's easier than what he's doing.
Just on Vientos, I know even before this happened, not the season that he probably wanted. How would you evaluate his season?
Well, I'm happy now. I don't have to use him.
Disappointed for what he's going through right now today.
That means he's on the team next year.
In the middle game to check on him when I had a quick minute. Not as fast as I used to be, barely made it back out for the next pitch, but just popped in to see him. And it's just disappointing.
No,
I don't think today's the day to do a full season eval. Guy turned around 98 from Chris Sale 4 or 5 days ago. Played a huge part in a big win. He's been mostly facing left-handed pitching since then. So I just disappointed for him today.
Yeah.
Is everything okay with Taylor coming out in the
My best wishes go with Mark Vientos. When I do this, I do it as a fan. Okay, I don't want him to get hurt. I don't like that he's hurt. It actually bothers me right now that he's hurt. It does. Yeah, William. It bothers me that he's hurt. I don't want him to be hurt. I want him off the team, but I don't want him hurt.
Good.
So, to him and his family, all the best. I hope he comes back strong and
50
hits 30 homers with fucking Milwaukee.
As that you experience for how do you rate that with you and when you put him out there?
It's less than ideal. But when you have a broken hand and you've got guys that need to rest, you kind of triage the best you can. They had a right-handed heavy lineup. We valued the defense at third with Brett. So we slid Brett over to third base.
Yes, don't.
AJ's our answer at second at that point in time. I do believe AJ is capable of playing that position well. When we were trying to figure out what it looked like in the minor leagues for him, you have limited reps. You have a guy flying through the system, and we genuinely believed he could be the center fielder.
He's the head of player development
there,
so he would know
very lightly at keeping the second base somewhat viable. I wouldn't doubt him figuring out how to do whatever we asked him to do, but we still we see AJ as a center fielder.
That's proper.
Who was a wonderful safety net for his teammates.
You don't put him at second base. He gets caught in a bad double play and breaks his leg. Absolutely
right. The words here that he used, but he was more than eager to stand there and play defense at second today.
I like Green.
All right.
Not as a manager, as a
Talked
player.
about Sean earlier. Just how encouraging is it for you and this team to have him go deep in games like that?
Yeah, it's been amazing. The year did not start out the way he wanted. I obviously was
still not
around to watch him walk through that chapter, but I heard he attacked his training relentlessly. He accepted his role.
September of 24 is the last time he pitched 7.
From my short time with him,
threw 109 pitches last time out too. That was huge for us where we were, and then gave us 7 strong today. We need length out of the rotation. It was good to see velo from him today too. Like I thought his velo was strong and it held.
I'm swimming in fucking debt. Does that help me? You know what? Maybe I'll pick up my fucking bills. That probably what hurt my back, picking up the envelopes. I'm joking, Joe.
And that's
Mania would be big for them.
That's what we've been
if he
missing
comes
to
back.
some degree, is having multiple of those outings in a week.
So have him next year.
Huge for us going into tomorrow to be able to rest the vast majority of our pin arms.
All right, thanks, Lonnie.
All right, so according to Andy Green, there is a fracture of the right hand when it comes to Mark Vientos. We feel bad for Mark, man. It's been a bit of a challenging season for him.
Challenging
in
season.
so many ways, Jerry. And the way
you were pricing fucking hitmen on over.
Andy would just say so much there, but it would seem like he's going to be out for significant.
He's out for the year.
I'm not willing to speculate on how long, because sometimes a fracture is
6 weeks.
A pain tolerance thing.
Right.
You could tell that he was in a lot of pain.
Looks like he got shot.
You don't know how it's going to heal because the bones in the hands are interesting. So I think that's why they're waiting. But it is a bit of a lost season for Mark Vientos. This was a chance for him to continue on. He played pretty well in that.
Probably better off shutting him down for the year. Vientos
hasn't been there this year. He hasn't really reestablished himself off of that tremendous. It was a 24 that he broke out. We haven't seen that kind of.
Yeah. Oh, Mania's not going anywhere. He makes $25 million a year, and especially now they're not releasing him. Yeah, Ed, it would be nice. I tell you, you're right. Look, I think that this team, it all comes down to August 3rd, what our lineup looks like, our roster. Because look, this team's not a 95-loss team. You got the best player in baseball this year, pretty much, in Soto. You got Bichette's going to knock in 90-plus runs, and you have Lindor back. Okay, that's a third of a lineup that any team would take. You ask any team other than the Dodgers if they want Lindor, Bichette, and Soto, and we'll throw in Benjamin Ewing. Right? It's the pitching. If the Mets had good pitching right now, I would think they could go on a run. I really do. If the Mets had the Philly pitching right now, the Mets would play 20 over the second half of the season. But they don't. The problem is, I think that they're going to get hot, and it's not going to be enough. I definitely see them getting hot at one point, but at some point. But I don't see it being enough. They're so far behind. You know, if they go 15-5, they're probably going to pick up 2 games in the wild card on 2 teams. There's still 6-7 teams ahead of them by 10 games. Yeah, and I just don't think there are too many teams ahead of them. And Stearns is in a rough spot. You don't want to give up the season, but you don't want to not trade players and get nothing back for them. You know, they're really in a bad position now. They have to trade the relievers because, you know, they have a 3% chance that they can make in the playoffs. You can't do that. Yeah, that 12-game losing streak cost them 6 games in the standings. Yeah, they'd be 5 out right now, probably. And no one. What was it? 83 and 79. They won a division. I think they finished 4 games over 500. Yeah, no one wanted the division, and the Mets had pitching. You know, the Mets had Kuzman and Seaver on the top. They had Tug McGraw, Danny Frisella. They had pitching. And they had, 2 guys that came off a World Series 4 years before in Seaver and Kuzman. Yeah, Joe, that was the problem. You almost could have withstood it if it happened now. when you put yourself, because what happens is everyone flies past you. Because there are some of those teams that I really believe the Mets are better than. Let me see. And you know, I slammed this team, so I'm not being okay. Let me see the full standings. The Mets right now are, what are they, 13 under? Are they 41 and 54? They're 5-5 their last 10. I think the Mets are better than the Reds. Mets are better than the Giants. Mets are better than the Rockies. I think they're better than the Pirates. I think they're better than the Cardinals. Talent-wise, Mets are better than all those teams. They just buried themselves. Yeah, they almost, yeah. Bert Campaneris caught the final pop. What was it? Ken Boswell popped up? 40 and 54, 14 under. So, how much are they out of the wild card, William? Hey, Jess. Yeah, you might be right there. I could see them being very jealous. Well, I could see Lindor being very jealous. Yeah, George Stone went 12 and 3 that year. Stone was great that year. Then he tore his rotator cuff the next year. Matlack's rookie season, he went 15 and 10, right? No, Mets had, oh, here's Shulman and I.
Do something like that again, and just proud of all the work that I put in.
What do you think made the biggest difference as you worked to get to this point?
I think my pitches, obviously velo is nice, but I think being able to locate it in and out, throwing other pitches to strikes, and just kind of attacking guys relentlessly.
I think his velo is back a little. It shows you what an extra 2-3 miles an hour does for the fastball.
How much momentum is being built here?
Yeah, it's great. I think, we're playing really, really good baseball right now. We're starting to see that offensively, pitchers, it's been top to bottom.
No, that's too much.
The ball kind of watching, going to the break. That's huge. And,
They'll probably finish 6-7 out of the wild card.
Well, the Mets are playing better baseball. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. I think an important series coming up here again.
So, look, they are playing better. They certainly are. What's their record under Andy Green, William? 2 games under? Look, the thing is they're inconsistent. I could see them throwing the ball all around tomorrow, and that's the problem. I want to see 2 weeks of this type of baseball. No terrible errors. That's what I want to see. And the thing is, if you go on a win streak, the best thing for the Mets, truly, on July 9th, you have 3 weeks to the trade deadline. For them to play really well and not gain any ground. Because that would mean that some of the players that you're looking to trade are playing well. You want Freddie Peralta in his next 3 starts to go 20 innings, 20 strikeouts, 14 hits, and give up 2 an outing. Then everyone will think he's back on track. You pray that Brazaban doesn't blow up. William, what's their record under Green? It'd be hard, Joe, for them to be playing me after the trade deadline. If they unload that 3 relievers, it's going to be very hard. Now, look, you never know. Guys could come up from the minors. I would guess Jonah Tong would be moved to the bullpen. Let's say 2 of the Mets relievers are gone. You're going to see this kid that was up here today. They're going to keep him. You're going to see Jonah Tong probably brought up. I think they'll win a few, Ray. I think they'll win a few. They're 6-3 on the Green. Now, would they have been 6-3 under Mendoza? I don't think so. I think everyone's a little more relaxed now. I think they're relaxed because he got fired. You know, I think the players liked him. And I think that they were wondering when it was going to happen. I think it happened. They got past it. I don't think they're happy about it. But I think that they feel now, let's just play ball now. There's no pressure on them now. No one thinks they're making it. So now you can go up there. Soto is Soto. Soto is a competitor, wants his stats to look good at the end of the year. And Lindor. You got to remember, the better Lindor plays, the more of a chance the Mets could trade him. But, you don't think Holmes wants to be traded for a playoff contender? Of course he does. Philly, they always play Atlanta tough. It's always a crazy series. Philadelphia, I would think this team will have a little pride if they're getting smoked by Philly. And Peralta will showcase for the Brewers. I think what's it, 12 games, Ray? Philly, Atlanta, LA, and the Brewers, 12 games. Legitimately, you probably should go 4-8 against those teams. I think if you went 5-7 against them, it was very successful. You went against 3 of the top 5 teams in Major League Baseball. If you can go 5-7, you can hang your hat on that. I would think they'd have a little pride. Philly spanked them. I would think they'd have a little pride there. Atlanta, they have a little pride there, although they split with Atlanta and the Brewers. We'll see what happens. But if you go 5-7, it was a win against those teams. Even if you're playing home, it's a win because those are 3 of the best 5 teams in the National League. Philly's probably number 2. Atlanta's probably Brewers are probably number 2. Philly and Atlanta jockey for 3 and 4. I don't believe in the Cubs. Cubs are hot and cold. Yes, William, that's a good point. I think that they are just playing more relaxed. I think they knew Mendoza was getting fired, and they were just waiting for it. And once it came, you wait for someone to die because they're very ill, right? You're not happy when they die. But your routine changes. You get back to a routine. You distance yourself and realize you have to move on. And I think under Mendoza, it was always that stench of the collapse of last year. Oh, it's like having a wife that cheated on you. There's going to be one time in 20 years you're going to bring that up in a fight. It don't go away. nor does that horrendous, probably worst collapse in Met history last year. And Mendoza owns that. And I think the team, they never got past that, I don't think. Andy Green comes, none of the baggage. And some players are trying to impress him. And I think this is what you get when you're more relaxed. Definitely changing a manager helps. Throughout baseball, it always has helped. You always get a push the first 15 games or so. Would I be surprised if the Mets went now 15-5? No, I wouldn't. I think the Mets will win 2 of 3 from Boston. And then they're 8-4 under Andy Green. They weren't going 8-4 under Mendoza. And, all of a sudden, Manaea looks a little more relaxed and better. Right? You haven't seen Manaea pitch like this in 2 years. Soto's on a heater. The kids look nice and relaxed. They did under Mendoza. But I just think there's more of a purpose now in the room. I think they're playing for jobs. They're playing for pride. Yeah, I think Polanco, I tell you, if he was healthy, a team would take him. He's a nice bat off the bench. But no one's going to trust his health. When you have foot problems and he has bursitis in the Achilles, that flares up. You could be doing nothing. You wake up in the morning, it flared up. I had bursitis. I had reconstructive surgery in this. It'll be 6 months Monday. And the bursitis, there will be times it was fine, times I couldn't move my arm. And Polanco goes through that. No one's going to take a chance. Or you could probably trade him and get very minimum for him. I'm sure you could flip him and get a single-A player that really is 6 years away probably. And someone will hope that they could keep him healthy. But I would think Tyrone Taylor might get 6-7 under Green. Yeah, that makes more sense. I didn't realize it was 6. I didn't think it was 6-3. That's still better. When's the last time they had a 500 stretch under Mendoza? I just see better baseball now. The Atlanta game, I know. Look, the Atlanta, they always play crazy games with the Mets, but I just want to see the kids continue to get better. And I was afraid with all that dysfunction with Mendoza, they were just going to be stuck in a situation where it was miserable. At least now, maybe Lindor and Soto have learned to coexist. They'll both help the kids grow up. Soto's in the outfield with them, so he's going to be closer to them. And look, you look at Ewing and Benji, you got to love. First of all, right now, Benj is having a better year than Nemo. There's no comparison. I'd rather have Benj than Nemo. So that the trading of positions doesn't look so bad anymore. Alonso's a hit. But we'll see. But we have 3 games this weekend. I would think they'd go 2-3. I think they should win tomorrow night with McLean. They always lose on Sundays. I could see them being 2-0 and losing Sunday. But you know what? Whatever it is, I just want to see improvement. Because that's all we were screaming for. Not to continually get embarrassed every night. And we're playing games now that look like real baseball scores. 5-2, 4-3, right? not 5 errors. When a team makes 6 errors in a game, honestly, to me, that's on the manager as well. That's on the manager. This team is too talented. You know, this team isn't the Colorado Rockies 3 years ago that lost under 20. This team's too talented. I know the AI isn't great, but thank you everybody for coming in. Be safe today. Now I'm doing a show tonight. If you all could come in and just give it a view, it would help me because I told you guys I'm going to be sponsored by DraftKings in August, and it looks good. So if you could just come in, and it's really interesting. It's going to be an interesting show. It's on Barry Manilow. I know it sounds Barry Manilow, but it's going to be his career and a couple of other little things. And I think you'll enjoy it. So even I know it's late, and if you happen to be up, just give it a view and turn it off or something. But I really do appreciate it. But it's going to be interesting. So that'll be later tonight. God bless you all. Let's go Mets. Thank you for coming in. Thanks, Ed. Hope to see you soon. And see you all soon. Talk to you later.